Hello there, YouTube. This is Savage Stacks doing a little coin roll hunting currency search. Couldn't really decide after that $50 stream, so I figured I would go to my bank, see what they got, and I will show you what I came away with. First bank did not have too many quarters, which I was kind of asking for. But they did have, let's see, we got $40 in quarters. We also got some nickels. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Bunch of nickels. Let's keep rolling through these. Oh. Have not checked for enders or anything. You guys are witnessing these about the same time that I am. So we'll kind of go through them together. I got a lot here. So for the sake of time, I'll check the enders right before I open up the package. Also have some dimes here. Put the dimes over here on the side. I think we got 100 dimes or $100 in dimes. Let's see. Also got some currency, so I got some singles as well. Always love flipping through singles, even if even if it's late at night. I work third shift, so that happens a lot. Nobody's around. I may just get a wild hair up my butt and go to the ATM. My ATM, my bank allows you to select the denomination. So I'll just take out, said amount of dollars and just kind of go through them. So let's see. Also we've got 250 in singles here. And the other bank had some more quarters. So I picked up some more rolls of quarters. Now, today, what I'm primarily looking for is silver. If I see a Wisconsin quarter, I may check that out for the extra leaf. I believe that's on the 2004 D for Denver Mint for the Wisconsin quarter. I also set aside Minnesota quarters as well as the Delaware quarters. Minnesota has a few varieties on it. Most importantly, usually the extra tree is the one that I've had the most success looking for. So when going through my currency, the thing that I'm kind of just looking out for the most are star notes. That's kind of what I seem to be finding the most of. For example, here is a $10 star note from 1993. Very good condition. A little inking error there, it appears. If I can get that in the focus. Focus. Or not. There we go. So star notes. I also look for some rare variety dates. Birth dates are a favorite of mine. They are pretty interesting. So this one is October 17th, 1997. I've had some luck finding these. Again, just something that's kind of rare out there, but not so rare that it pulls in any sort of value. But I mean, to me, it's worth a couple extra bucks. Somebody out there that has that. There's January 18th, 1988. Somebody else that has that birth date, might be willing to pay something for it. Otherwise, I'll just kind of hang on to it. Now, here's an older date. This is a Star Note silver certificate. You can see up there, we used to be able to take those to our locally federated or federal bank and turn these in for silver. Here's one from 1957. Again, you know, that obviously does not apply. One other thing that I'm looking for, I've not found these in circulation, are web notes. So web notes are an experimental run that the federal government did. If you are interested in these, I highly encourage you to look up web notes. So I believe the date is 88 through 99 or 88 through 96, dollar bills only. And if I can get this to focus, then you will see a web note. And a web note most easily is identified by this guy who's still kind of new to this. The federal number on the back is next to the "In God We Trust," as opposed to down here in the lower corner. So again, if you have any notes from the late 80s or the 90s and they are dollar bills, go ahead and look on the back. If they've got a number by that "In God We Trust" up top, then you may have yourself a little web note. And I always encourage to do a little bit of research, as it has given me the most amount of education as far as you know, what I am looking for. Again, today primarily what I'm looking for on the dollars is just the star note here at the end of the serial number. So I will begin to go through these. I don't know if these are in order. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. Looks like they are all face up, so we'll just begin. This one's pretty damaged. Nothing too spectacular here with the serial number. Another thing that I'll look for is, real quick, my eyes go to the date, the letters in the beginning of the front. The front letter indicates which city it was in, and then the serial numbers. You can go through the serial numbers and make sure that they match. If they do not match, you have yourself a pretty rare note there, and that is worth some money. I have not found one, but I don't always have the patience to do that either. So 2009, no star note. LF matches 386. Nothing super significant there. 2017. So what I'm going to do, so there's 4 7s. Nothing there really that I'm interested in. If I see something that I am interested in, I will I'll come back and tune you in. Let's see. So here I go. And if you see something that I may happen to miss, by all means, go ahead and leave a comment down there in the chat. Also, at the end of the video, I am going to make some announcements as far as the future of the channel and kind of which direction we're going in. I think there are some exciting things happening. Another thing that I don't typically do is check the back of a note. And honestly, the biggest reason is, I mean, you can go over this note with a fine-tooth comb. I just don't really know what to look for, and or, you know, is it worth it? If I see a little ink smudge on the back, is it worth me spending 15 minutes going through this note? You know, is that going to bring up something of interest to me? And so far, I haven't really been too interested in it yet. So, again, I'm just kind of looking for the date, make sure the numbers or the letters match up. And any significant numbers, there's a little doubling on that 3, nothing to get excited about though. I don't typically find those. I do find some notes that have heavy doubling on one of the numbers, or maybe the last number is elevated a little bit. Again, not, you know, unless it's a major error, I don't hang on to it. You know, just Just not my cup of tea. You're going to find the more notes that you go through, you're going to kind of find what you like and what you don't like. And I've also looked on, I'll go to Heritage Auctions, see what interesting notes are floating around out there. eBay, people either love eBay or hate eBay. I think it is a valuable source for information, current values, and see again what people are kind of stashing away, see what's selling out there. If you're interested in, taking this dollar and making it $1.25, honestly, after the eBay fees and the PayPal fees, not always the best investment or the best use of your money. But again, this is just something that I really enjoy. See, there's some heavy doubling on that 5 there. In fact, that whole first serial number is pretty heavily stamped. But again, nothing I'm really too excited about on that one. Let's see. So we'll just kind of flip through these. Again, if you see anything, let me know. Now this one here, pretty crisp. I don't see, there's a little fold there in the middle. It looks like it was folded over once. It's a 2017. You kind of, it's not rare, but some of the older ones, I found a 1985, just absolutely uncirculated in a stack like this. And, it's not worth a bunch of money, but a 1985 uncirculated dollar bill, no fancy serial number, nothing like that. It just doesn't have a premium, maybe $4 or $5. Maybe if I hang on to it in 20 years, it'll be $30 or, But again, it is uncirculated. It is pretty cool. So I'll hang on to it, pass it down to the kids. And, maybe sometime in the future, they'll be able to cash in on it. That one's got some weird discoloration to it. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, see, and this is the kind of stuff that I just don't have that much education on. What could cause that? What could cause that type of discoloration? It almost looks like it was. I mean, it's in pretty good condition. I mean, it's got a folded corner here and it's got a bend there, but it doesn't look like it went through the wash and, hit some colors. But again, you don't know what was laying on top of it or whatever. I'll keep it aside just for right now. Just to look it up, probably throw it back, give it back to the bank. No big deal. Again, I mean, it's just my off day. Return the $50 that I got for the stream, and figured, maybe I'll go through some change here, go through some currency, and just see if I can't find anything of interest to me. Let's see. Not seeing too much, and you're gonna have this. You're gonna go through a lot of dollar bills. And if you're like me, you just kind of enjoy the process. And who knows what you may find. Usually with a stack of hundreds, on average, I usually find about one star note per $100. Sometimes that's up, sometimes that's down. All these are facing the same direction. I'm kind of superstitious. Usually when they're all facing the same direction, I tend not to find as many star notes. I don't know if that's because the teller kind of flips through them real quick and maybe sets them aside. That's kind of funny. Quality control sticker over on one of the ones. Obviously, this dollar has not been quality controlled. It is a mess. But you also find like stamps on here. Sometimes the bank teller will overstamp the strap on it, and they'll leave a little stamp on here. Again, if you've got an interest in anything unusual or quirky about dollar bills, chances are you're going to find it. Some have that track Washington. You can enter in the serial number and just show you where that dollar bill's been. So that's kind of cool. Also, another thing that some people look for, and I used to look for them, are trinaries. Trinaries are when the serial number only has 3 digits, or the same 3 digits over and over again. So like 527, 527, 257. Basically just 3 of the same number. Also ladders, and which are just a progression of the numbers in order or sequential order, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something like that. I have found those in the past. Now here's something that I used to collect as well. So this one has 8 of a kind. 8 of a kind. 5 of a kind. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 8s. Liar's poker, people that like to collect those. Some people, especially at the bar, I found, gone to a bar in 20 years, but, they'll pull out these dollars and they just like to have the 5 of a kind. So I used to set these aside, not so much anymore. Also, the U.S. Mint sells dollar bills that have the 8s. I guess it's a fortunate number in the Chinese community. So I'll set that aside. I'll just kind of look it up. It's in very bad condition, so I'm not really anticipating, not setting that aside to sell or anything. I just kind of want to do a little bit more research on it. Now, if that was a 3, that's 6. If that was a 3, a 4, or a 0, this would be a trinary. It would only have those 3 numbers. That 6 kind of throws it off. Unfortunately, kind of a cool number though. A few zeros there at the end. If that 4 maybe was over here, that might be of interest to somebody. Again, cool, but nothing that I'm going to set aside or stash away. Just don't have a lot of interest in that. And again, this is not something that you're going to want to do to make money, make a quick buck. It just is not going to happen. I'm sorry. But they are fun for collecting. You may find 1 or 2 or 3 that do have some value, and I have. And if you want to post them on eBay or do an auction, you might have a little bit of success for that. But again, this is not a retirement strategy. There's just not a huge market out there for paper. I think it's a lot of older people like to look for them. Not sure about this next generation of kids, if that is of interest to them. I do imagine there is a subset of people out there that like to hang on to stuff like that. I do. I mean, it is pretty cool, especially when you come across one. I've found You know, ladders 112233, and that was pretty cool. You know, I found a dollar bill that looked like it had an ink smudge on it from the mint. So that was, you know, that was an interesting dollar. I did hang on to that one just until I can find out some more information about it. But again, I mean, if anything, you know, if you're doing this as a hobby, if you're doing it just to kill some time or to find something interesting, I have found that this hobby, whether it's silver or currency, definitely encourages people to do research. And I always am a big advocate doing research, always learning, always trying to expand your knowledge base of whatever it is you're trying to learn about. It can not only benefit you, but it also benefits those around you that, you know, may come seek you out for advice one day. So this is another one this one here in particular is not super interesting, but it does have almost doubles, 1-1, 4-4, 5-5. If that was like a 8-8 or a 7-7, it'd be interesting. It'd be even better if they were in sequential order, so like 1-1, 4-4, 5-5, and then 7-7. But again, nothing, you know, nothing to hang on to, nothing to write home about. You know, or if you have a favorite number, again, good chance you may find something with your number on it. So this one it's cool. I like it. The 3s and the 9s. There's this whole underground, once you kind of get deep into this, there's these notes that you can take and turn them upside down with the 9s, the 8s, and the 6s, and if they read the same way forward as they do upside down, those I've seen pull in, you know, money over face value. I have never personally found one. I don't really look for them though, mainly just because I kind of forget. You can really get caught up in just, you know, going over each one of these with a fine-tooth comb. And frankly, I'd rather just kind of look for my star notes, any interesting dates, serial numbers. You know, some people look at how offset the cut is on the back. Again, not my cup of tea. You're going to find your cup of tea, and you're going to just, you know, like I said, I mean, heck, I may even just go to the ATM and just pull out, you know, $40 here, $40 there, and see what I can't find. There are other YouTubers out there that, you know, if you search, you'll find currency that has a significant premium. You know, I mean, some of them are worth thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars. You know, and if you spend the time, it's out there, you know. So here's a kind of an interesting one. So it starts off 411, you got 65, and then ends with 411. I guess technically you could consider that bookends, but the G and the H preferably would be the same. I don't know. Just, again, something cool and interesting to look at. You don't see it every day, but with a 6-5 in the middle, it doesn't really read all that well. It's not very appealing to the eye. A lot of this, especially if you're going to try to sell this or flip a dollar for $1.50 or whatever, to me, what I found, it's kind of all about the eye appeal. You know, is this really going to pop when somebody first looks at it? Is that serial number going to stand out as unique and different? You know, that's something to keep in mind too. Because if you're trying to get rid of something or sell something and somebody's got to kind of use their finger and go through the serial number to identify what it is you think is special about it, chances are they're not going to buy it. They're not going to bid on it. Oh, wow. Okay, so here we got our first serial note. It is a 2017 B. So the B stands for New York. So what I will do is I'm going to set this star note aside. At the end of this currency search, I will go on to the computer or my phone, and you can look up how rare that star note is. Let's see. All right, not sure if I've been out of focus that whole time. I sure hope not. So we'll go through the second strap. Tell her to put rubber bands about it. I do not like the rubber bands. I prefer them not to do that. Just in case you do find a note, rubber bands can rip them and, you know, do all sorts of things that you don't want done to a dollar bill. So, all right, so we'll pull that bad boy off, and let's see. So again, I'm looking at the date, serial numbers. You know, nothing significant there. And, oh man, that dollar bill has seen some better days, right? I'm going to start to go through these a little faster. There we go. There's another star note. 2013. 2013 has a ton of star notes. You're going to find most star notes don't really keep a high premium as far as value. But you know, if you get a collection of them or something like that, they may be of interest to somebody. So there's a better example of some bookends, 88 on each end. Again, you kind of want the letters to match and the 4 numbers in the middle to have some significance, either a ladder or repeaters or something of that nature. So here's let's see, 4747. Now this is a 1999. Do believe that is a WebNote year. Let me just clarify that real quick. So I'm learning as you guys are learning. WebNotes 92 to 96, I believe. But yeah, that one does not show me too much interest. 1988A, 93, and 95. So that was a 99. Not a WebNote year. It's not actually in all that bad of condition. I'm just going to set that one aside right now. Just look into it a little bit more as far as condition goes. Again, I'm just going to kind of flip through these real quick and see what we can find as far as star notes, fancy serial numbers, any misaligned numbers or differing letters. I've got a new setup for my camera, so I don't have an oversight of my camera. So right now I'm just hoping that it is staying focused as I flip through these. All right, nothing there. So here's another 1999. And again, you can see down here on the bottom, see how that number, let's see if I can bring it up a little bit for you. Numbers right down there. With that WebNote, it was up there. So again, that's another way to easily identify your WebNotes. You know, if it's an older 88A, 93, 95, go ahead and check that back plate number and see if it's up there. If it does, get ready to do a little bit more research and you have got yourself a find. Those are much more rare to come across, depending on the condition. With dollar bills, everything is about condition. You know, if it's in better condition, you know, 5, 10, 15 bucks, you can go on Heritage Auction. You know, if you get it graded due to its condition, and it, you know, it could sell for a decent premium. Again, I have not come across one. The web notes that I have found that I've either gotten in my local coin shop or online. I did want to, the reason I bought one, that's actually, I don't really buy currency too much online. I wanted to buy one so I had one physically in hand that I could use for a reference. And that's what I use it for. I didn't pay a tremendous amount of money for it. Again, it was nice to A, have one, and B, use it as a reference. You know, I'm willing to pay, you know, a couple bucks to gather more information, to have another example of an interesting note that not everybody has, and not everybody knows to look for. So let's see, 3s and 6s, nothing too exciting there. So as far as serial numbers, I'm not really seeing anything that's jumped out at me. And I kind of seem to have that luck. You know, sometimes when I have a lot of time, I can go through and find something interesting about the number. But again, you know, depends on how much currency you want to kind of stash away. And frankly, like, I don't want to have that much stashed away. I want to hang on some things that are visually going to pop to me, or that are truly not an everyday occurrence, such as a web note or a star note or something like that. It is amazing to me when I'll go into the bank and I'll ask if they have any older dollars or if they have any star notes, and the tellers look at me like, a star note? What in the heck are you talking about, kid? And I get to explain it to them, and they're like, oh my God, I never even noticed that. You know, so it's not always rare, but unique enough that even bank tellers who handle money every single day don't always know about it. So here's an example of a trinary. We got 043, you know, and those are the only 3 numbers in that note. Prefer the D and the F to be the same. It does have 04 in the beginning and the end. 3 and 4 3. You would have liked that 4 in the middle to be a 3. That would definitely have been a very nice find. As a trinary as a whole, I don't really hang on to them anymore. Again, you could end up having $2,000 in trinaries and them not really be all that, you know, valuable or significant. If it is what you're into, I mean, this is a decent example. I mean, it's banged up. It has a bent up corner and such. I will set it aside. And the reason that I tell you that I'm not hanging on to them, but I do set them aside, is what I have found is once I go through all the currency that I got, my opinions change about, you know, sometimes I'll be flipping through a stack of singles and I'll be like, oh, that number looks interesting, or, you know, that's kind of cool. I'll set it aside, and then by the time I go back and look at it later, I'm like, you know what, that's not that interesting, or I just don't want to hang on to it. I have so many other finds from that particular hunt. So I kind of always put it in like purgatory, and then at the end of the stream or the end of my hunt, I'll go back and I will reassess them. I think it's always good to kind of reassess your collection and see what you got, see what you don't need, see what is still of interest. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's sometimes when I've gone back at the end of a hunt and have no idea why I set that dollar aside, you know. And again, so it's like, it's all about the eye appeal. It's all about what's going to catch my eye. And heck, if I don't know why I set it aside, somebody else sure isn't going to, you know,